Alright folks, welcome to another beer review, and hopefully we're in for a treat with this one. This is the third and final French craft beer that I picked up when I was in Paris, and yeah, got a long weekend. It's the end of my work week, so I thought I'd crack this open and hopefully it'll be a lovely decadent treat and it doesn't spill all over the carpet. It's a bit of a tip behind me and I'm sat on the floor like a little bitch. Anyway, so we've got an Imperial Stout, and this is from, I think it's pronounced Popihn. I'm not too sure at all, but just look at that label. Really nice photographic label, part of their barrel age series, and I do like that artwork there with the sort of isn't that like a grid that people use when they're doing illustrations of like faces and things like that? It's definitely got something to do with art. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but yeah, this is 12% ABV, and it's from what I can remember, from Scotch peated whiskey aged for 16 months. And picked this up from a bottle shop called, he's not wearing pants, Le Bougeon or something along those lines. I will put the link in the description. And yeah, I even like the bottle top. There we go. And I just found out that the upcoming 28 Weeks Later was shot exclusively on the same iPhone that I have. So I'm going to have a look into, you know, different attachments for your camera, because, I mean, I know I'm saying that now, that the new iPhone has just come out, which will probably make this iPhone 15 Pro Max. I think it's a Pro Max. I don't know if it was like the top model. I don't really care. I like the camera on it. It makes it obsolete, doesn't it? And I'm sure someone in work said that they'll be making this iPhone run a little bit slower, which is, you know, doesn't surprise me. It's just that incentive to slap down a fuck ton of money on a phone that's not really that much more advanced than the phone that you already have. My philosophy is, I'll get a new phone when I need a new phone, and that's usually like maybe 1, 2 or 3 generations down the line, and that's the only time I would ever really justify getting the latest model of a phone. But yeah, I got this out of necessity. I do a lot of filming, I take a lot of pictures. I know the Google Pixel's getting really hyped, but you know, I like the oh, why am I talking about iPhones? I don't want to talk about iPhones because Apple piss me off, really. Anyway, so yeah, we've got a nice, hopefully, with it being a peated whiskey, going to be a nice smoky affair. So hopefully it's not too lively in the bottle. Let me just get my discarded jeans from today. I am wearing shorts, don't worry. Shorts with an overshirt on. It's basically just to hide my tits, really, while I'm on camera. So yeah, they had some really interesting sounding beers while I was in the bar that I purchased it from, and then I had a quick look on Untappd about this, just so I could, you know, get the right beer introduced, blah 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 blah. There's no like blurb even in French on the official, you know, Untappd listing for this. Did notice a lot of the reviews were in German, so I'd imagine it's these beers have travelled to Germany at some point, unless there was just a big influx of German tourists who just so happened to pop into France and sample the fine craft beer. But yeah, and it's had pretty good reviews. There was even like a barrel aged barley wine that they had, which I was like, that sounds wonderful. I can't remember how much I paid for this, but they were quite expensive, really. But I thought you might as well, because you're probably never really going to see too many French breweries, French craft breweries in the UK. I'm sure there is, and there's probably been a big influx of a specific brewery in the recent months, but I'm going to keep my eyes a little bit more open next time I do a beer purchase, just to see if there's anywhere that's been stocking some French beers, because what I had up to this point was really, really nice. Anyway, got a nice teku for this one. Let's see what we get. I just really like how it's presented, and there's something satisfying about beers like Imperial Stouts still being in glass bottles, because these guys do can as well. Oh, look at that. Not sure what that's like. Oh, that looks nice on camera. Give that last little bit of swirl. Put it in there, see if we can generate some head. No, it's just enraged bicarbonation. Yeah, nice hit on there, and it's just, the head has dissipated straight away. So yeah, I think I mentioned this in some of my other post-Paris videos, but the intention was to bring this back, to keep hold of it until, you know, the next bottle share. But with 330ml bottles, and I've only been back like a couple of weeks now, and I'm just missing it. Do you know what I mean? I've still got loads of stuff that I need to upload on my Instagram with photos and put videos together. Hopefully I can still put all of those reels I've made into one video and upload it onto YouTube. I don't know, we shall see how that goes. So it's just it's really depressing, actually, reminding yourself of the time you had. But you know, it's I'm bitten by the bug of wanting to travel a lot more, just these like little trips for a few days around Europe, because it's easy to do. The only thing that I've got to really contest with is getting the time off to be able to go. And you know, I'm minimum wage. Do you know what I mean? So just, it's not going to be, I'm going to be traveling loads in 2025. Probably maybe do 1, 2 or 3 trips throughout the year, on top of whatever, you know, beer tube related stuff I do with the gang. But I will say, before I get into it, Paris was, from where I went, there was a lot to do in terms of craft beer, so I would very much recommend a Parisian piss up. Anyway, so the beer looks really, really nice. It's pretty much jet black. Let's see. Although there's like really dark, intense, dulled dark brown. That doesn't make sense what I've just said. I'm using it's not a ring light that I'm using. It's just like a mirror that lights up. So it's technically a mirror from the bathroom, and it's not really made the quality any better, because it's a yellow-ish light, isn't it, up above? And then you've got my salt lamp, which doesn't help me therapeutically at all. Maybe my zen's out of balance and I need to open my mind slightly. Anyway, I'm 35 years old. I'm sat on the floor with no pants on. If that's not dudism, and look, I'm looking a bit homeless as well. Not done anything with my hair, so it's just long. People in work are accusing me of straightening my hair, which for some reason really wound me up. It's just naturally straight, but it's very, very fine, so you can't really do much with it, which is very, very annoying. Anyway, he's hardly talked about the beer. Looks exactly like you would expect. At least I've given enough time for the beer to breathe in the glass. Let's see what we get on the nose. Oh man, that smells lovely. Oh, you definitely get that peated, smoky character coming through. Not like smoke as in like a harsh smokiness, but that sweet, almost German Bamberg Rauch beer peated smokiness. You know, like your cured ham but there's a big intense chocolate aroma coming through as well. The whiskey's there, but it's not abrasive on the nose. I do tend to find that a lot of whiskey and barrel aged beers can be a little bit harsh, but we love them. But that just smells really, really nice. It's got a sweetness to it, which I'm really, really enjoying. Oh, yeah. What I like about it is, it's not like really in your face. It's quite not like reserved, but it's like laid back. And it's not over promising on the nose, which is one of the most disappointing things, isn't it, really? With a lot of things when it comes to like food and drink, if something smells amazing, you're salivating, you're wanting to have it, and then when you have it and the flavour doesn't really come through that much, it's a little bit depressing, isn't it, really? Anyway, this is smelling good. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, everyone, and sorry to the beer tubers because I could have shared this with you, but I'm reminiscing about Paris, and I'm a greedy fuck who can't keep hold of beer. That's fundamentally what this is about. I'm looking very feminine in this video. Anyway, bottoms up. Who says that? Oh, wow. I've become so climatized to like really thick, creamy, sweet imperial stouts. This is just like proper going back to basics, like Russian imperial stout territory. I tell you what, that whiskey is doing exactly what whiskey does when I drink whiskey, and it's very much warming your gullet as it's going down. I don't know if that's the right part of the body, the gullet, but I sometimes get this thing where I get tingle down my back. So the whiskey side of things is coming out a little bit more than it did on the nose. It's got a spiciness to it. It's doing that thing again. It's so weird. It's like when, I don't know if anybody else gets this, but I am very partial to a ham and mustard sandwich. But sometimes Coleman's mustard, which is obviously, it's the quintessential mustard for a ham butty. But sometimes it really attacks your nose. But I like it. It's a good pain. We won't go any further with that discussion. There's a salinic quality to this, and I would actually say it's got like a, yeah, very much so actually. It's not just an idea I've got in my head, it's very much coming from the flavour, but it's got that like salted licorice character, which I love a good salty licorice. I like it when it's a little bit subtle, like the salted level of a salted caramel, but also I like those like really harsh, salty licorice pieces. What country's famous for that? It's a Scandinavian country, if I remember correctly. But yeah, don't think Rob from Hopsine would like this one, because it's very licoricey. It's very, very licoricey. The body's not silly. It's oily, but it's on the upper end of medium. So it's not thin. Sometimes the barrel aging process, I find, thins out a beer a bit too much. But this is just the right amount for me. It's still luxurious. Still decadent. It's really sticky on your lips. Yeah, the peatedness is coming through. It's got that lovely smoky flavour. That sweet smoky flavour. There's dark chocolate coming through. Oh man, I just can't get used to that whiskey character coming through. If you like your whiskey barrel-aged beers, and you'd like that flavour that really comes through to the point where you almost think you're drinking, you know, something that's got whiskey or bourbon in it, then you're probably really gonna like it. I wanted to know like what barrels they've used, what whiskey they've used, but I couldn't find any information on Untappd. Maybe if you go onto the website, they'll probably give a breakdown of this barrel age series. But yeah, it's really salinic on the aftertaste, almost like drying your tongue out, like you've put a bit too much, you know, ground cinnamon into something, because you're getting those like slightly autumnal spice flavours. Yeah, there's no sort of like subtlety with this, and I've not had an imperial, like a classic tasting barrel-aged imperial stout like this for a long time. So in this climate, when every sort of like imperial stout is like a cake or biscuit or, you know, fudge inspired dessert stout, it's just so satisfying to know that beers like this are still being brewed, and it's brewed very, very well. The base stout is tasting fantastic. Nothing silly, nothing outrageous. I think even like Paul from PA Brew News would love something like this. Yeah, in fact, I'm telling you now, the Americans who love the old school stout, which is something that the Americans do beautifully well, to the point where it's almost like well, no, it's stupid to say it's like a lost art form, because you've still got, you know, your likes of, you know, Firestone Walker and stuff producing classic stouts. God, I wish we could get more affordable Firestone Walker. I was watching a playback of a stream that Kent Beer Reviews did before our Ormskirk, we've not done an Ormskirk trip, for our Preston trip and our Rivington Beer Festival trip, and they were talking about Firestone Walker, and Rob from Hopseed mentioned Double Jack, and that is a beer that I've probably only had a couple of times, but left such an impression on me. And yeah, some of those imperial stouts and strong dark ales that they've done over the years, which I've been very lucky to try, even just like a handful of them. When I was living in Germany, there was a company called Braufaktum who were making, you know, craft beer when it wasn't really that common. When I was in Germany, I know we're talking about a different country here, but I was, even though there'd been craft breweries doing stuff since about 2011, but you know, it was like riding the, you know, the crest of the wave, and this was a company that was doing that, and they were also like importing the likes of Firestone Walker. So at the Regensburg Craft Beer Festival, the first one I went to, which I think was the first year that they did it, they had a stand that were doing pours of Firestone Walker beers. There may be a vlog video on this channel actually from back in the day. If I remember to put on, I'll put it up. I'll put the link in the description, and there probably won't be any mention of what I've just said, but yeah, just some of the prices that I've seen for some Firestone Walker things, just stupidly expensive. But I think a lot of the time it would be worth, you know, paying that price. Yeah. Other Imperial Stouts, I'd be gulping this down, but it just demands you respect it. And I think they've done a remarkable job with that. The barrel age aspect and the whiskey aspect is probably a little bit harsher and a little bit more abrasive than I usually like. But the flavours themselves are really, really nice. They're bringing out that smoky spiciness. So that sweetness it's there. But it's like a chocolatey sort of sweetness, but at the same time, it's got a really dark, intense, dark chocolate. And like I said, it's not as much now on subsequent sips. That's a good term, isn't it? Subsequent sips. I know that's not how subsequent tips. Oh, hello. Subsequent sips. There you go. That's the name of a channel. That sort of like salty licorice character is not as intense. I think my palate's adjusted to it. The whiskey side of it, my palate's slightly adjusting to it. But it's still, every sip of this beer, you're getting a big, in-your-face flavour. Yeah, that's really, really nice. It's just proper, like, old school, and not let's make it a silly beer, or let's hide this imperfection by throwing loads of syrup in it. Do you know what I mean? Or not like bombarding it with cacao and vanilla. But no, it's a very, very intense barrel flavour, this. Yeah, it's proper like going back in the day sort of Imperial Stouts for me. For me, personally, from my drinking experience. Yeah. That's really, really nice. And we've ended our trilogy of French beers on a high. Hopefully, I can get more stuff done on the channel. Like I've been saying, I will be going back to Paris at some point, because I'm proper looking 80s now, aren't I? I'm actually quite... I don't hate my hair for once. Yeah. Such a fucking femboy sometimes. Anyway, yeah, this is lovely. Absolutely wonderful. The barrel aged series from Popihn. I'm sure people will be able to correct me on my pronunciation. That was their Imperial Stout. Scottish peated whiskey, 16 months, 12% ABV. It feels its ABV, which is a refreshing change. And there's been a tiny little addition into the glass, so I'm not wasting a single drop. So if you tried anything from this brewery, then let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. If you tried anything, or if you tried this or their barrel aged series, let me know your thoughts, opinions. I'll put the link to their website and their socials down below. I'll also put the links to the bottle shop that I purchased this from as well. Great little spot. Can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, I just really wish I'd have maybe brought home maybe a couple more cans or bottles. But I think I mentioned this in the double IPA review. I was at that point where it's like, I've spent way too much and it's a little bit further away to payday than I'd like. But upon reflection, I've done pretty well since I've come back. Saved my pennies a little bit. Have I got savings? No. Have I got a future? No. But I live in the moment, man. Live fast, die young. Don't do that. Live as long as you can. Anyway, that's a really insensitive thing to say. But yeah, if you've tried it, beautiful stuff. Let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. What's some of your favourite French craft breweries? Any recommendations, always appreciated. UK folks, if you know anywhere that's stocking even like a small selection of French craft beer, let me know in the comments and I'll definitely check them out. Although I've got a feeling I'll be doing a Trembling Madness order because Sure Shot have brought out a Charlie XCX Brat themed sour. So Charlie XCX, the saviour of pop music. Up there for me, right, with Dua Lipa. Anyway, did he call himself a femboy before? Anyway, Brat Summer's well and truly over. I didn't really have too much of a Brat Summer, to be honest. But it's all about basic bitch autumn winter because I'm not very annoyed. I've not had a Starbucks pumpkin spiced coffee or frappuccino yet. Very tempted to be a dickhead and order one on Uber Eats, pay over the odds just to have something delivered, a coffee delivered to your house. That, I think that says a lot about society now, isn't it? That the fact that, you know, you can buy coffee beans, you can buy instant coffee, but you're still going to add about £5 or £6 to your coffee order and have it delivered straight to your door. We're going to end up like that final scene in Wall-E, aren't we? Where everyone's just a big slob. Anyway, enough said. Thank you for watching. You all take care. Can't believe I've nearly spent half an hour talking about a beer. On form again. Cheers for watching. You take care. Alt-right. Bye.